innovation to me is really a way of thinking about things. So I think the biggest innovations that occur are not so much about technology as they are about paradigms in thought for humans. So an innovation could be a change in a business model, it could be a change in philosophy, it can really be any of those things. And so now I think from where I sit as a venture capitalist in the United States, when I see innovation, it is often innovation along the legal and policy stack, not along the tech stack. So if you think of a company like Airbnb, technology enabled Airbnb to exist, but really the innovation was in how we think about staying in other people's homes and how we think about travel and how we think about flexibility of real estate resources. I think I would define the greatest innovation in contemporary history as birth control. I think the ability for women to control their fertility and to not have children if they decide not to have children is extremely important in terms of the advancement of half of the human race and therefore the children of the human race as well. I still believe that to be true. One of the things that we are facing now as a society around the world is income inequality. And income inequality, the most destructive part of that really has to do with the inability for humans to think of themselves as the same. And so that fundamental equality of humanity doesn't have to do with income, it has to do with what's in our brains. Again, that conception of equality and the conception that one human is of equal worth to another human. And income inequality is very corrosive to that idea. So access to new technologies drives the ability to achieve income. And so the inability to have access to a technology, and that technology could again be something that is a concept. So when humans started developing the ability to read and had access to books, both the concept that you could pass knowledge from one generation to the next or from one person to the next through a written work was important to conceive of and to agree upon, that it was a good that shouldn't be restricted just to monks or something, but also the technology, the ability to read and write became very important to be spread, to everyone. So that struggle, I think, continues today, and I believe never be untrue. We do need technology to be accessible to everyone, but technology is not just the latest digital tool, it's also the concepts that go along with those technologies and the values that are behind those technologies. The last time that I said, wow, how lovely, or some equivalent to that, was yesterday walking around Milano. I was looking at a wall, or two walls next to one another. One was sort of an ochre color and the other one was light pink. And the light pink one was peeling, the paint was peeling, and the light was very beautiful on both of them together. And they had different planes of light because they were at angles to one another. And to me, that's the epitome of beauty, is seeing something that is perhaps man-made but has been affected by nature and has this very interesting textural and color aspect to it. I don't think the digital world has created a new concept of beauty. I think that art and design are still very much the guideposts for humanity, and I think that if you look at the way humans are constructed and the way nature is constructed, that our ideas of beauty come in large part from that. And so we go back to these fundamental visual cues that we get, and then we look for those in the digital environment. So I think one of the reasons why Apple has been so successful, for instance, is that they have adopted a lot of fundamental design principles that have been applied to many other man-made objects and brought those into the digital world. I suppose digital media, has brought a more both a more homogenized view of beauty to the rest of the world. So bringing, more ideas of human beauty, light-skinned, light-haired people around the world. But it's also allowed us to bring more information to everyone, so more kinds of examples of beauty to everyone at the same time. So it has a nice democratizing effect to beauty, as well as the ability to have the more dominant culture sort of oppress everyone else with their ideas of beauty. But I think the actual fundamental human feeling about beauty is not going to change until we fundamentally change our form factor and nature fundamentally changes its form factor. That is still where we go for beauty.